What's up, real business owners? It's your boy Trevor. Today, I want to go over some good practices in regards to your finances. As a small business owner, these are very important. And, I get on the phone with people all the time. I message people all the time. And there's common themes to how they're handling their finances that are a detriment to their business and their future success. So I wanted to take, 10 minutes or so and break some things down for you. I don't want to make the video long because I respect your time. So let's just jump right into it. Obviously, this is about finances. One thing to keep in mind as you're building and scaling and growing your business is it is good practice to have about 10% of your annual income in reserves. Now, if you're newer in business, that's kind of hard to do, right? But what you're going to want to do is target that. So if you're doing $500,000 in revenue, it's a good idea to have about $50,000 in your business bank account. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be $50,000 all the time. If you make a new hire, if you make a big purchase, but what you're going to want to do is try to get back up to that $50,000 mark. If you have $1 million a year business, it's a good idea to have roughly $100,000 in your reserve, because when you're wanting to grow, you're going to have to take chunks of that, and you're going to have reserves to handle your normal expenses as well as expenses in order to force growth. Okay. So think about where you're at right now. If you're taking everything from your business in order just to fuel your lifestyle or to pay your personal bills, you're going to want to figure that out. And it's going to lead me to my next point. Maybe there's something you could do on your quoting that can help with this number here. Because if you jumped your quoting up by 10%, that extra 10% could start being utilized as reserves for your business. Now, in regards to quoting, you need to understand your expenses. Most people go out there and initially start a business and are like, well, I could be profitable quoting this. And they're usually quoting underneath the competitors in order to try to win the job and get revenue coming in, which I understand. That's kind of part of the process. But the issue with this is, because that's the way that they've always done it, they continue to do it that way, and they stay quoting the exact same way as they've always been, and that limits their ability to grow. So you need to start thinking about, when you're quoting, understanding your current expenses as well as your future expenses. So for instance, just because you're quoting and you're okay now doing it, and you're making money, probably don't have the reserves because you're making money and you're utilizing that for your lifestyle and your daily expenses just as an individual. And that's part of the problem. What happens if you weren't the one doing the job? What if you had to hire somebody else to come in and do it? What would you have to pay that individual to do the job? So remove yourself from the equation and think about the expenses that you will carry in the future as you grow and expand your business. What does it look like to have an accountant? That's part of your expenses. What does it look like to have another staff member, an admin? If you don't pay for rent right now, but eventually you want to have a location, what is that going to look like? If you're a blue collar business and you're going to eventually have to buy equipment or have extra vehicles or trucks, you're going to have to understand that and project into the future and say, okay, well, everybody that I'm bidding against has this type of overhead. And so that's why their bids are what they are. And I don't have that same overhead. That's why I'm bidding down here and can still make money. But if you want to stay down here, then continue to bid like that. But if you eventually want to play a bigger game, you have to bid or quote bigger as well, so that you can have the money that you need for those future expenses, as well as make sure that you're fueling the reserve account properly. Number 3, a good way to be able to get money into that reserve account is making sure that you're maximizing tax savings. So an S Corp is a quick way to save some money. Now, you want to make sure that you're generating over, 60, 70,000 a year or so in revenue before you're looking at the S Corporation. The S Corporation, you elect to have your LLC taxed as an S Corp. So nothing changes. Your bank account stays the same. Your business name stays the same. Everything stays the same there. What it is it's an election so that you don't have to pay self-employment tax, which an LLC does. The problem is an S Corp's a little bit more expensive to maintain, and it costs more to do a tax return. So it's okay to pay self-employment taxes below that 60,000 threshold. Above that, it's worth paying those extra expenses to have and maintain an S corp. And so a few other things are making sure that you're maximizing things in terms of your home office. You're utilizing your cell phone as a deduction because most of you guys are taking calls from your cell phone. Obviously vehicle expenses, you're traveling, you're talking about, if you buy a new truck, a new piece of equipment, make sure that you're utilizing that to maximize your tax savings. But the quickest way to, if you're making 80 to 100 grand a year, the quickest way to save 4 or 5, 6 grand per year is to have your LLC taxed as an S corp. And so you've got 75 days every single year for that election. So from January 1st to March 15th, or you have a 75-day window from the time that the LLC was set up. So if you're past that point and you might have to overpay a little bit in taxes this year, that's okay. But what you're going to want to do this next year, if you're not inside of that window, is you're going to want to keep that in the back of your mind, or set an appointment on your, or reminder on your calendar to talk to your accountant about electing to have your LLC taxed as an S corp. Okay, marketing budget. I talk to people all the time, they don't even have a marketing budget. Oh, we're word of mouth. That's great. Initially, that's fine. Oh, I have work right now. Again, if you're trying to grow and get bigger, you're going to eventually have to play a bigger game, which means you're going to have to start marketing and advertising. What is the normal amount that you should spend on marketing? There's a budget that you should have, and it's usually anywhere from 5 to 10% of your total revenue. So if you're generating, $100,000 per month right now, you should have at least $5,000 per month allocated as a marketing budget for you to continue to grow your business. Overall expenses, this is an important one. A lot of people don't even know their overall expenses, but it's not uncommon for a business to have about 60 to 80% of your revenue is going to contribute to your overall expenses. This leaves about 20 to 40% in margins. The average business is roughly right around the 20 to 25% mark. There's certain industries and certain businesses like restaurants that are closer to the 5% mark. And there's certain industries that are closer to the 40 to 50% mark. But, to hover around the 20 to 25% margin is good. And right now, some of you guys might be thinking, well, I'm at 40% or I'm at 50%. Again, if you're doing the job yourself, you shouldn't be including that in your margins. So if you do $1 million in revenue and you pay yourself $100,000 per year, for instance, in order to be the actual employee of the business doing the work and doing the fulfillment, if you paid somebody and it would take 70 to 80 grand a year for somebody to do that job, that would really only leave you $20,000 to $30,000 in margins. And, obviously that doesn't match up to what we're trying to accomplish here. So understanding your finances, good practice. Again, 10% overall in reserves. Make sure your quoting is more about where you're going, not where you're currently at. Make sure you're looking at your tax savings and maximizing everything that you could do there. That's a boring thing to do, and most people don't look at it until it's tax season, but looking at it throughout the year is a smart thing to do. Marketing budget, if you're planning on growing, make sure that you're spending about 5 to 10%. Your overall expenses, we should be capping it out right around that 80% mark, leaving you 20% of margins. So hopefully that was beneficial to you, give you a little bit of framework in regards to your finances, and make sure that you're doing the best that you possibly can to honor these things so that you can get where you're trying to go.